X4 Foundations claims to go back to the roots of the venerable sci-fi sandbox series, which first appeared on the scene in the late 90s. Let's take a closer look. Welcome back. First of all, I'm giving away an X4 game key. To join the giveaway, just check out the Gleam link in the description below. Don't worry, this is no follow me on every social media channel bullshit, you just have to be subscribed to my channel and that's it. With that said, let's get straight to the point. X4 claimed to go back to its roots, and it absolutely did. But it went a little too far and placed itself between the second and the third game. In short, it feels like a stripped down version of what Egosoft originally wanted it to be. But here's the good news. It's flawed but fixable and offers a great foundation to build upon. Egosoft promised a real space sandbox, and that's what we got. You're able to fly most of the ships you encounter, and you have all the possibilities to choose your own path. Be a pirate or a trader or a mercenary, build ships and stations, explore the whole galaxy, briefly worded, do whatever you want and set your own goals. The game's universe is vast but convenient to navigate. A ring-shaped space highway connects the inner sectors and there are no loading times anywhere to be seen. This enables you to flawlessly travel between sectors and cover lots of distance while managing stuff using the new map. The interface never was Egosoft's strong point, but it's better than in the earlier games. Still, telling your fleet what to do is more complicated than it could and should be. Menus are quite clunky and convoluted, and there is no sign of an intelligent or adaptive UI anywhere. What's kinda unnecessary too are glitches like, for example, these overlapping trade price windows. What I missed most during my time playing X4 was a story. There is no plot to guide you through the new and restructured universe, which is quite sad, because the previous games did a better job in this regard. The animations were horrible, but the stories told were entertaining and a nice way to introduce factions, sectors and technology. In X4 it's up to you to gather all the information you need, which isn't inherently bad. But sadly, the only thing you have at your disposal is an incomplete encyclopedia, which isn't a lot of fun to read. Actually, the missing plot wouldn't matter so much if there would be better world building. Even if you figured out the who's who of the X universe and got yourself a better ship or a little fleet, nothing meaningful seems to happen. And if it does, you're just not getting informed, as there's no galactic newsfeed or something similar, which I would deem quite beneficial regarding immersion. The different factions also lost a lot of their original identity and now seem to distinguish themselves from each other just by appearance. Incomprehensibly, Egosoft left tons of lore untouched and missed the chance to tell hundreds of microplots, which would help the sandbox to really come alive. Battletech, as a current example, does a better job in this department. Its little, nicely worded multiple choice events manage to breathe life into the randomly generated deployments without much of an effort. This brings me to the mission system. While you cross different sectors, mission icons will pop up now and then. While the idea itself is nice, and you don't need to dock at stations anymore and search for NPCs to accept a randomly generated task, most of them are quite boring and don't seem to be connected to actual events. While the "Help, I missed my ride" missions, where you need to pick up a client at a station and then chase after a departing capital ship to drop him off there, are simple but well integrated into the game, there are other mission types which feel too generic and cheaply made. For example, retrieving lockboxes, where you just search for random crates in a set area. Other tasks are way too tedious, like for example, yo, scan this Xenon ship, but we don't tell you where it is. Flying around aimlessly isn't what I find to be entertaining, let alone challenging. No, the game doesn't need to hold my hand, but it does need entertaining and coherent mission mechanics. For example, an interesting scanning mechanic to at least narrow down the search area, or the possibility to ask NPCs whether they have seen a certain ship. This would blend perfectly into the gameplay and also improve immersion a lot. Now, let's check out graphics and sound. In short, both are nothing special and as average as it can get. I can't positively or negatively remember a single tune or the sound of a specific weapon. Space in X4 looks quite nice, but other games did a better job in my opinion, like for example a fully modded X3 or more recent Everspace. But don't get me wrong, the overall graphics quality itself is okay. Grievances are rather found in the design department. Most ships, stations and places just won't stick in my mind. Everything looks very uniform and thus, in the end, forgettable. So, after all that criticism, why, would you ask, would you play this game? Because there's so much dormant potential. Yes, you can create your own faction and the game's AI stutters and stumbles a lot, regardless of whether it's managing micro or macro events. Your merchants are sometimes flying all over the place or get stuck in endless docking approach loops. And at least for me, there's a general feeling of not being connected to the game world. But, like I said in the beginning, the foundation is in place, and the one brief quest line you can find in a game gives a glimpse of how interesting and entertaining X4 could become in the long run. I wouldn't be this optimistic if another company would develop the game, but Egosoft already released several patches during the last month, fixing a lot of stuff and even adding a passive multiplayer mode called Expeditions. And do you remember how they improved the dreadful X Rebirth over the years? If not, then go and read up on the game's history. It wasn't dropped even after tons of negative reviews, and they kept improving it until it went from disastrous to decent. X4 could and will probably go from decent to brilliant. Also, don't forget the tireless modding community supporting the X universe since nearly 2 decades. They brought us terrific stuff like XRM or Living Universe and much more. In the end, I'd say, get it right now if you're a dedicated fan of the series. All others should wait a few months until the game gets some more updates and releases more of its potential. So, that's my humble opinion, and that's it for today. Don't forget the giveaway, it will run until late January, link is in the description below. If you enjoyed the video, then feel free to like, comment and subscribe. Thumbs down if you'd rather play Club Drive until all eternity than have to watch this video again. Thanks for stopping by, and see you on the next Magnets and Miracles.